Hey, today I'm going to set up my new Summer Waves pool. You probably noticed 2020 was a rubbish year for buying swimming pool bits, certainly if you waited till the summer. Everything sort of doubled in price, maybe tripled in price. When I saw that my supermarket had one for £90, I think it's about $120, I'm like, I'm going to buy this on the off chance that my current pool doesn't work. And this pool was a 10 foot wide, or roughly about 3 meters. So this is what we're working with. We had this base that I'd prepared. So let's get cracking. Now, the packaging does say don't use a knife. And if you're very shaky with a knife, then definitely don't do this. But I like to live a little bit dangerously. I would recommend that you read the instructions that come with the pool before you set it up. I kind of did, and I kind of ignored some of them. And some of the instructions are a little bit lacking in places. I'll tell you where. There was a light breeze today, so I'm going to try and pin down the tarp as much as possible. The T-frame joints that came with the pool actually help with this. Now the frame supports. What you don't realise until you start unpacking this is how much plastic there is. Everything is covered in plastic, and you've got multiple layers of it. It's time consuming to remove all the plastic pieces from all the individual poles and supports. And now for the pool liner. This pool liner is actually a lot heavier than you think it is. And this box, you certainly need to be careful opening it. Anything that goes through the cardboard will damage the liner. And now it's a case of making sure that it's the right way up and opening it out. What I failed to realise when I was spreading the frame is that they are inside the footprint of the swimming pool. Once you've opened up the liner, it's a great time to rotate it up where you want the inlet and outlets to be, and also pay attention to where the drain is. It makes sense that if it's on a slight slope, that you want the drain to be facing downhill rather than uphill. But hopefully your ground is level, right? Luckily, all the connections are mostly where I want them to be. The drain is on the left of the screen, and the pump is going to be on the patio at the back. With the liner in the right place, I can start building the frame. Threading the pole into the liner can be a bit tricky, as the hole can be sort of stuck together. But you just need to pry it apart a little bit and it'll come away. Now comes the T connectors, which join all the poles together. And the pegs that hold all this together are a little bit fiddly, so it's good if you have helpers. As they went round adding the T connectors, I started to add the supports. You can do this after the whole frame is together, but I find it a little bit trickier, as you've got to lift the whole section and in one go. One thing to note is the plastic cover goes on the top when you push it in. Where these little plastic covers go isn't actually shown in the instructions, so it caused me no end of confusion. And I think it was the same issue with the Best Way pools. I started putting them on underneath, whereas actually they go on the top to stop water sort of going in through the peg. We were mostly done with the setup, but I lost one of the T connectors. And it took a few minutes to find it, but it was because the pool liner was covering it up. When I was spreading out these T connectors, I would have put them at the edge of the tarp, then it would have been much better. And now we can complete the frame. Now you can do your final adjustments to your pool position. Once you have the water in it, you'll not be able to move this. Try to make the vertical supports as upright as possible. Keep an eye on them when when you add the water, because they're going to shift as the bottom of the pool expands out slightly. In theory, you're supposed to be able to get all the wrinkles out the bottom of the liner. A little water is supposed to help with this. However, I've never had much luck with this, and I'm happy with the minor wrinkles. Some of them will come out as more and more water gets added in. The instructions say that you need to have the pump attached to the liner before you start filling. Personally, I just stick the plugs in, the little black plugs, and hook the pump up later. In the past, I've made the mistake of hooking up the pump but not having anything tightened, and so I'll come back and find that the pump is actually leaking a little bit, whereas if I'd used the plugs I wouldn't have lost any water, and then when I did put the pump on and it leaked, I would have noticed straight away.